Welcome to Point of Reach. This is the 10th game of this best 15 between Blackheart and Zock. This has been a very tough battle, and it's 5-4. Should have been Zock 5 versus Blackheart 4, but Zock decided to run into a whole bunch of Percies, which makes it 5-4 in favor of Blackheart. Both players choosing Seraphim in this one. Could be that last game could be very critical for Zock, given that he got beat in 3 games by Blackheart on a map similar to this with 6 islands, Roanoke Abyss. I still think it's nice to have a lot of naval representation in these, because naval is such a big part of the game. So hopefully there aren't too many complaints, and no matter what happens at the end, this has been a very close tourney. Not like it was in the first 4 games where Zock was in danger of major embarrassment. But Blackheart, if he wants to win this, I think the next 3 games, if he wins all 3, he does take the title. And this should be his best opportunities, at least in my opinion. It's a very difficult map to play. You need a really high APM, you need a lot of attention, multiple fighting fronts. And actually, I haven't had a chance to play this one many times, so I'd be curious to see what exactly these players do. One of the reasons this map was chosen is people tend to want to recommend this map for some reason, at least some people. I'm sure others people totally hate the fact that it's on here. Some scouts, so it's a second air, not surprising from Blackheart. Second air, not surprising from Zock, although Zock is a little slower. And a significant power difference. That is 8 PGM power difference. At least that's what it looked like for a second. 1 engineer on the power spam. A lot of engineers on build capacity spam from Blackheart as he sends a single scout over Zock's base. He's going to spot this transport. Losing a transport at any of these so early in the game is basically losing the game. It's not just that your investment is destroyed, it's also that you're going to miss out on grabbing one of the islands. And this is all about map control, I think, on this map. They're very spread out, and it's very difficult to just out-tech somebody like you could on Roanoke. And what are we gonna see here? Wow, this could be the battle of the game here, coming up minute 4. Actually, a little after minute 4, coming up minute 5. And a big positive interceptors from Zock are gonna protect this in transport. It'll be very close. Zock losing a bit of time, having to drop off in the water, is going to do some walking, and that could make just enough difference for engineers. For Blackheart already doing the work. Did Zock actually see? I want to go to +2. Did Zock see that there's a transport been dropped off in that position? That could be critical. Elsewhere we see bombers from Zock going to look for any drops on the right island. So perhaps there's a meta that I'm not familiar with on this map, where Zock was supposed to take this island and Blackheart went in, took down his transport, and now will actually take over this island unless there's a mistake. 3 factories, so it's still fairly close, and it's 100% tanks from Zock, who's microing to a fairly high extent. His bombers, that bomber was critical, killed a whole bunch of engineers. Losing build capacity in this position is very dangerous. Elsewhere, nobody wants this island. Zock is going to drop something off, and the second transport coming in from Blackheart, he's really focused on grabbing this island. One good thing about having this island, if you go take it, floating already directly onto that island. It's a very offensive position if Blackheart can capture it. Some bombers being used as scouts. Actually, that was a good drop at an engineer. Is going to prevent construction of a couple of NGs. Good work from Zock here on the right side. On the left, if Zock can hold on, although it might be difficult for Zock. In terms of ecos, they're very similar, and actually this could be a critical transport if Zock can establish yet another base. In terms of naval, we do see a couple of frigates from Zock, nothing from Blackheart. And early on, I have to say, an advantage to Zock. He's on 4 different islands. He's bombing one of Blackheart's islands. what Blackheart has is it seems that at least for a little while he had an advantage on power. And this battle is just raging here. And this is where the players have to make the choice: how much of your attention do you put in this battle? How important is that battle to you? And the longer it continues, the more important it becomes. Look at all that reclaim, and one of the reasons we have so much reclaim, it's been all tank on tank, no overkill whatsoever. So a huge prize as we see more and more land factories being invested by Blackheart. Elsewhere we see Zock is going to invest quite a bit in the secondary base, but yeah, Zock has actually paused all these factories. It looks like he's going to concede, and that's going to be a huge boost in terms of reclaim. And this map is actually quite devoid of reclaim, it appears. Only about 1,000 for Blackheart. Zock at 655 and his customary power stall. So just in factories there was over 1,000 mass, and in tanks it's probably another few thousand. It's going to be a huge fraction of the total reclaim as frigates for Zock continue to harass, and a couple cool NG drops here, but it looks like this transport is chasing down a big squadron of NTs. If it's actually successful at dropping off, we'll be surprised it's not. Zock much more active on the naval front, much more active on drops, and at the end of the day it might not actually be a victory for him, because this has been the major event so far on Point of Reach. This first game of 3 games on Point of Reach. It's a great use of frigates from Zock. Very annoying, as the formerly victorious forces of Blackheart are gonna move forward, and they're just gonna run over Blackheart's force here. Sorry, Zock's force. Zock needs to get a point defense as soon as possible. Otherwise, he's gonna start losing factories. A complete disaster. This island, Zock's gonna have nightmares about it soon. And this could be an interesting move. Zock is gonna move in with his ACU. Very aggressive move, perhaps a little bit of desperation. Also an NG drop. Both players NG dropping on this massive reclamation opportunity. Oh no. If point defense here was finished by Zock, he could have probably done something, but this is now the second time where a massive investment into factories has backfired for Zock. And actually Zock is going to be forced into the water. Doesn't look like there's tech to air yet, or submarines that could make water uninhabitable for Zock. But Zock, about half health, is going to hide for a little while. Let's see where he goes. Of course, this is also giving away the position of his ACU, which means oh yeah, this is great. Blackheart dropping off engineers. He's gonna get himself some free mass extractors, and here comes the floating arty wars are gonna begin. Zock is gonna begin abusing the floating ability of his artillery and just attempt to run over one of Blackheart's islands elsewhere. Blackheart is gonna collect a whole bunch of mass, and let's check out the reclaim. 4,300. Zock at only 1,800 in terms of power, still very even, and no sign of tech to navy yet, and tech to air, but not a lot of build capacity for Zock gunships. This is a great map for gunships, and if you've been watching the last 9 games, you know both of these players extremely good with gunships on any map that's 10x10. That was one of the philosophy behind choosing these maps. Nothing that's 5x5. You want to make sure these plays really work for their victory. I think that was some of their early complaints when they saw which maps they have to play. That this is going to be a long haul. It's going to take a lot of effort. And looks like an offensive drop here from Blackheart. A whole bunch of tanks. 8 tanks and this Tech 1 Seraphim transport. 8 dead tanks delivered. Actually, I don't think they're going to leave any reclaim whatsoever. But Zock getting pounded here. This is really bad as an air fight. That if Zock loses this air fight, this could be game over, and you can't really throw away victory. Well, this wasn't a thrown away victory, although I gotta say Zock did have an advantage, what looked like an advantage, but it came down to these battles on this island. It's just too much to recover from. He did attempt an assault, which is still going, but we do see the Yancy actually tech to land here from Blackheart with a lot of build capacity. Yeah, the Yanceys are going to do a good job defending against the floating arty. One shot, one kill on these units. Gunship trying to go to work, and then air fight that continues. I thought Blackheart had actually won this air fight, but Zock able to grab it back, allowing the gunship a little more time to work on the floating arties. Tech 2 Navy, looks like a destroyer from Zock. Mostly just Tech 1 Navy from Blackheart. And Blackheart has won yet another victory. Has earned yet another victory, and a lot of reclaim for him on the island on the right side. On the left side, Zock working with ACU, 17 kills. Only 8 kills for Blackheart. This is somewhat of a secret base, I'm not really sure what was the purpose of it, but it is there and it's producing frigates. I guess they are a fairly good defensive weapon. As Zock is going to attempt to recover his island, he needs to do that as soon as possible. The longer he does not have these mask extractors, the bigger hole he's in. And you can see the size of the hole here, it's about 40 mass deficit. So there's about 50% more production for Blackheart, and actually that's growing just as we're watching. Although Zock has power advantage, and these are Tech 2 transports. I also saw a couple T2 Pigeons, the Force T2 Pigeon going up for Zock. And what are these? These are Yanceys. This could be a massive Yancey drop. Total of 5. See where that's going to go. It's going to go for the defense effort of this island. It could have been so different. If Zock could have won this battle, it would have been completely opposite. Zock would have been in command, but now actually Zock's going to lose his other expansion. This is a counterattack, Tech 2, Tech 1 counterattack, and a complete disaster as there's yet another air fight, which is fairly even. Well, however, it's not really that even anymore. What is that? A secret drop from Zock. Who is now facing Tech 2 with his ACU, actually together with a Tech 1 point defense. Get a couple small victories, and now his gunships have no protection. They're going to go down. And another successful assault on the right side. I anticipate some NG drops on that position coming up minute 20. 16,000 reclaimed by Zock. Only 3,700 by Zock calls GG. So I think a pretty good start to this, I guess the 4th installment of the best of 3, game 10 and the best of 15. Looking forward to the next 2 matches, and 6-4 in favor of Blackheart. Zock really needs to start winning games. One more loss and he's up against the wall.